Good evening. So, Winnie and I, you can probably see him running around. He'll probably be running around in the background. Winnie, you wanna come say hi? I think he's trying to get some water. Winnie, come here, baby. Mommy has a toy. Boop, boop. You wanna come say hi to everyone? Say hi. So this man and I, as you guys know, or if you don't, because I know I have some new subscribers, so welcome. But I just wanted to sit down and do a little sit down, talk to you guys video because, yeah, something happened. Oh, also, as I was saying, new subscribers, thank you guys so much for subscribing. Welcome to the family. I don't have a name for the fandom yet because we're still very small, but if you guys have any suggestions, start hitting me up with those. DM me on Instagram or Twitter. Yeah, DM me on Instagram. I'll put it right here, my username, so you can go check that out. So with that being said, let's get started on this video. So Winnie and I, we went to Walmart and he's in his vest. Actually, back up. Let's go back to last week. We'll do 2 story times in one video. Last week, it was my birthday. I'm 22 now, holy moly. I'm 22 now, you guys. Anyhow, that's beside the point. Sometimes I just wonder how I got here. Like, I feel like I should still be in high school, but that's beside the point. We went to Penn Station. As you guys know, quarantine's still kind of going on, and I'm living in Kentucky right now. If you don't know, if you didn't watch the last video, I will link that at the end of this one in the end card, but I moved back to Kentucky because I didn't get into any of the grad schools I was looking at due to not having the proper prerequisites for most of them. Some of them just didn't accept me because it's a very, very, very competitive program, and they didn't accept, like, one of the programs, for example, there was like 300 applicants, they accepted like 9. So I'm not upset I didn't get into that one. But some of the ones that I didn't get into, it was because I didn't have the proper prereqs. So I decided just to come back to UC, University of Cumberland, here in Kentucky. I wanted an apartment this time around, not to be in a dorm, because technically I already did my 4 years, and I was like, I was looking forward to an apartment and being my own person and getting to cook and not have to worry about what they're serving. I would be able to make my own food, whatever I want, when I want it, and not, you know, whatever they're serving in the cafeteria, or as we called it, the caf here at UC. And I was gonna move in hopefully July, August, maybe June. And an apartment opened up last minute with someone I'd been in contact in. Anyhow, so I was looking to move in here, maybe somewhere else if I could, but an apartment opened up here like last minute. Like, I called the end of April and was like, I'm gonna move down there hopefully near August. I'm gonna go back to UC. I was looking if you had any availability. She was actually, yeah, one apartment's open May 1st, and I don't know if I'm gonna have any others opening because people they thought were gonna be done with their lease had extended. They were like, oh, can we stay another year? And which I get, you gotta extend your lease sometimes, but like, oh my gosh, I don't know, my neck hurts. But so I literally found out, packed everything and moved it within like a week. So yeah, and it was a unfurnished apartment when I bought it. Like, you had to furnish it yourself. I don't know if those are words. But yeah, so anyhow, John was down here visiting, or up here, he's from Georgia. He came up to visit, and then we decided to go home. He'd never been to my home in Indiana. So we decided we would go back to my home for the weekend and visit with my family. We were headed home, and I wasn't thinking at the time, because I was originally thinking we'd probably go through drive-through. So I wasn't really thinking, so I put Winnie's harness on him because that's how we attach his seatbelt for safety purposes. But I had packed his, I think he was about to fall asleep. I had packed his vest, just thinking we'd probably go through drive-through and I wouldn't need it. Well, then we got stuck behind a car accident, and so John was like, I've been doing on and off, gas, no gas, gas, no gas, brake, 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 like, my legs are killing me, can we get out? I knew based on where we were, because, you know, I've been doing 4 years this drive, I knew based on where we were that we were close to, sorry, John's actually texting me. I knew we were close to a Penn Station. I love Penn Station, love it so much. They have such good food. And our friend Sydney was following us. Okay, so basically she lives in Ohio and I live in Indiana. She's been moving into her apartment. She went home to get more stuff. So we get up, and just past this exit, like maybe 15 more miles, we split. So we knew she was only like, she'd originally been like 15-20 minutes behind us, leaving her apartment and me leaving mine. So I called her and said, hey, where are you? And she goes, I just got stuck in the accident, or behind the accident. I said, we're stuck too. That's almost clean. We're like pretty much right behind it. You'll pretty much catch up. Do you want to meet us at Penn Station? They have outdoor seating that is 6 feet apart. Like, it's already like that. Like, they had it installed like that. And we're like, we can stop and there's a gas station right there next to it. We can get some gas, we can eat, and then we can head our separate ways. And she's like, yeah, I'll meet you guys for lunch. So we stopped and I took Winnie in with me. Per federal law, I will link down below in the description box the ADA laws, but per ADA laws, which stands for Americans with Disabilities Act, which is a federal law, so state laws don't succeed it, county laws don't supersede it, like, it is the law because it is federal. So I took Winnie in. He was in a harness, he was under vocal control, and he was on leash. Per ADA laws, service animals do not have to be vested. There is no part of the law anywhere that says they have to have a vest on or they have to be labeled as said service animal. There is none. None. They do not have to be vested. It says vesting choices are up to that of the handler. Typically I vest my dog just so people don't ask questions and they realize that's a service dog. They're less likely to bother you, bother the dog, try to distract the dog, try to pet the dog, try to ask you a bunch of questions. Like, if it's a service dog, it's easier. And so normally I vest him. This is the first time I have not vested him, but he was on leash. Per ADA laws, federal laws again, I will remind you of that. No, Winnie. 1 second. No. Something got spilled on the floor. I had to spray it, and that's what he's smelling. I don't want him to, like, I don't think it's bad for dogs. I'm pretty sure everything that I've bought cleaning supply wise, even the ant spray, is dog friendly, but just to be safe. Excuse me. I've been cleaning so much I'm allergic to dust and I'm kicking it up. I mean, it's okay, baby. He came to check on me because if I cough or sneeze or anything, or if anyone does, no, don't knock the camera over. Stop! Don't knock the camera over. He, sorry, something on your nose, baby. He, checks on that person. I got it. I got it all. I love you. Do you love mommy? Yeah. But anyhow, so, this was the first time I'd ever known. Oh, I was explaining ADA laws. Per those laws, it says if the dog does not have to be vested, the dog does not even have to be on leash if it interferes with the dog's task. However, it doesn't interfere with what I need him to do. So he's always on leash. But it says as long as the dog is under vocal control of the handler, no vest or leash is needed. Okay, that's what the ADA law states. I'm not saying this word for word. In fact, you can see my phone's off. It was flipped down, so if I got notifications, I didn't notice it. This is just me reciting from memory, so don't come at me if it's not word for word. But basically, just has to be under vocal control. As I said, he was on leash. I never, ever take Winnie anywhere without him being on leash. He's really good at staying with me. However, if he's leashed and people see that the other end of the leash is attached to me, they're less likely to bother him, I've noticed. So I just always leash him. But he does not have to be vested. So I didn't put a vest on him. We go into Penn Station and one of the employees comes over and says, excuse me, but you're gonna need to take that dog outside. This is wrong. Per ADA laws, once again, I'm gonna bring this back up. And Penn Station, it's not like it's a local thing. I get if it's a mom and pop, they just opened, they're not quite up on the laws. I get that. But these laws have been in place for years and years. Most of the ADA laws were created and have not been changed since before I was born. So if I can know them, you people can know them too. And I'm not just blaming the people out there. I'm saying, and I've mentioned it, it's Penn Station, they need to educate. Like, this is a corporate business, so the corporation needs to make sure all of their employees, every single employee in every single location is educated on federal laws. That's that. So what the law states is there are 2 questions that any business can ask a person. 1, is that a service dog? Yes or no. If it's no, then you can ask that person to leave. If they say yes, then you can ask the second question, which is, what tasks does that dog perform? For me, I'm willing to admit it to you guys, but in the moment I usually don't quite admit this, but he's psychiatric, and I'll usually tell people that if they ask here, Instagram, wherever, anything like that. However, then you get more follow-up questions, usually like, oh, psychiatric, is that really a disability? Like, yeah, mine is, honey. Like, if I don't have him with me, I can't leave the house. I'm so bad. But like, anyhow, so I usually say medical alert and response because, for example, when I'm gonna have a panic attack, he alerts to it. When I'm having the panic attack, he does grounding techniques. So that's kind of the alert, and then the grounding is kind of an alert, but also kind of a response, and then his response is to do like DPT, LPT, which stands for deep pressure therapy, light pressure therapy, or he helps me get out of the situation or find a place to sit down. So he does medical alert and response. That would be my answer to the second question, what tasks does he perform? You can go into a list. I could say, oh, he does DPT and he alerts to my episodes, but you don't have to. So I would just say medical alert and response. Also, those two questions, those answers, I have been coached on by the professional that I'm working with. And she says, yes, if you say it just like that, yes, he is a service dog, yes, he is task trained, and he is trained to do medical alert and response, that is as far as they can ask. So this first employee says, ma'am, you need to take that dog outside. He's not allowed in here. And I said, excuse me, but he's my service dog. And he was like, oh. And he was like, really? And then Sydney was standing right next to me. John, my boyfriend, was also standing right next to me. Sydney goes, yeah, he's a service dog. And John was like, yeah. So they left. Another employee came up to us and said, you need to take that dog outside. And we're like, he's a service dog. Like, so I looked at the guy, I was like, but he's a service dog. And they're like, oh, okay. So then another lady came up to us, another employee, and she was the one like, okay, if you've ever been to a Penn Station, you order your sandwich, and if you want fries or chips or anything, you order that. Then you go to the end and order your drinks and pay for everything. So she's like the one that's gonna take our order. She takes Sydney's order because John was getting mine and his food, and then Sydney was gonna get her own, pay for her own. And Sydney went ahead and ordered hers, and then John and I stepped up, and he starts to go to order, and then she notices the dog, and she goes, ma'am, you need to take that dog outside. And I was like, but he's a service dog. Well, it doesn't say he's a service dog. And I was like, legally, he doesn't have to have it. And she's like, well, where's his vest? And I said, ma'am, he doesn't have to have a vest. He is a service dog. You can legally ask me 2 questions. I proceeded to tell her the questions, and I said, you can ask me if he's a service dog, and if I say yes, you have to take my word for it. Whether like it is or not, the business has to take your word for it. Now, if the dog's going to the bathroom in the store or the restaurant, trying to steal food off of someone's plate, trying to jump up on the table, barking, obnoxiously lunging at other people, like if the dog is not under control and is not behaving well, even if that really is a service dog, even if that animal is task trained, they can still ask it to leave. The federal law states that if a dog is disruptive or rude, that the business has every right to ask that patron to leave. However, I was doing nothing wrong. I was standing there talking to my boyfriend about the menu. He had never been to Penn Station before, and so I was trying to tell him, oh, I like this sandwich, I like this one, I like this one. Do you want fries? We should get fries. This is what I'm gonna get to drink. And we just literally like looked at it like, I just told him like, this is what I would eat, and this is what I would pick, and this is what I'm gonna get today, I think. And so we weren't doing anything wrong. We were standing there calmly. He was sitting down right next to me, like right at my hip level. Well, not hip, like this way, but like here's my hip and here's his head. Like he was sitting down right next to me, under control. The leash was like, I had my over the shoulder leash. He was under control. He was being completely still. He wasn't licking anything. He wasn't sniffing anything. He wasn't trying to eat anything. There wasn't anything there to eat. There's no crumbs on the floor right there. But like, he wasn't trying to lick the floor. He wasn't trying to sniff it. He wasn't trying to get to the counter. He wasn't trying to jump up on me. He was literally sitting there. Just sitting there waiting for me to give him a command or to start walking. Just sitting there. And this woman is like berating me and belittling me, and I have never felt that way. Never. Like I sometimes get embarrassed, like if people are staring too long when I'm with him or whatever, and I just walk away, whatever. If people try to ask me questions, sometimes I'm like, can you not, like, here's my Instagram, go check it out, it says everything. I'm not in the mood, or I don't have time, or I don't feel good or whatever, which is totally acceptable because being chronically ill and disabled, sometimes you're just really not in the mood to talk and you really don't feel good and you need to get in and out and get something. Like today, so many people stopped me and I'm like, I just need a vacuum. But we'll get to that story in a second. But anyhow, so this lady just keeps like, and she's like, well, you're not vested. And I'm like, he doesn't legally have to be. Well, but, and so I educated her on the laws, and she was like, well, but it's a dog. And I was like, yeah, it's a dog. Like, and she was being so rude. And then she just was like, okay, and she took our order. She's like, what do you want to eat? And we gave her our order. She goes, you know, you really shouldn't have a dog in here. And she brings some background to the topic. And I'm like, ma'am, but he's a service dog. And she goes, it's whatever, it's fine. Just go pay so that you can leave. And then as I'm walking away, I hear her say behind me, it's disgusting that she thinks she can bring a dog in here. Ask any service dog handler and they're gonna tell you we groom our dogs way more than a regular dog. I can tell you that because I've had regular dogs. We groom her maybe twice a year. Maybe like actually send her to the groomers twice a year. Winnie goes like every 3 months. Honestly, I go every 3 to 4 months to get my hair cut, sometimes 5 or 6, depending on, because sometimes my hair grows less, sometimes it grows more, but like I go anywhere from 4 to 6 months between haircuts. He goes 2 to 3 months, at most 4. That was this last time because I couldn't get him in because nobody was open at their grooming offices because of Corona. But that thing wasn't really going anywhere either, so no big deal. But I typically try to get him groomed every 2 to 3 months. I brush him, well, during bad seasons, I brush him daily. But that's during his shedding season because he's got a double coat, so he sheds in the fall and in the spring to prepare for getting his winter coat or losing his winter coat. But I brush him weekly. I wash him every couple weeks. You can't wash your dog too often or it'll dry out their skin. It's not good for them. But I wash them as often as I can. I wash him or brush him as much as I can. I keep him clean. If he gets dirty, I at least get the dog wipes. If not, give him a full up bath. I keep him very clean, and any service handler that you ask will tell you the same. We are really good about grooming your dogs. In fact, if you guys want to see a grooming routine, let me know down below and I will definitely film that because I've seen other handlers do that and I always enjoy watching those, so I probably would enjoy filming one. But anyhow, this woman was just so rude, and they ended up saying, well, we've had customers complaining. There were no customers complaining. There was like one in there, and she didn't even talk to the employees because I saw her, so I could see her out of my peripheral vision pretty much the entire time. She never once said anything to the employees while we were there because she'd already ordered food. The only other person that said something to them was like, oh, hey, you forgot to hand me my cup with my food. Can I please get my cup so I can go get my drink? Nobody said anything. They were just being rude and obnoxious and frankly ignorant. So that was just so upsetting to me that happened because it shouldn't happen. They should have been educated more properly. But yeah, so that's what happened at Penn Station a week ago. Now I'm gonna take it to what happened today, my second story time for this video. So we were in Walmart, and Walmart is non-pet friendly. In fact, they have a sign like this big on their doors that says, pets not allowed, service animals welcome, or something like that. And then as you go get a cart, it says right there, also really big sign right by the cart that says, for everyone's safety or for sanitary reasons, I don't know exactly what it says, but I know it says below that, no dogs in cart. And it has a picture of a dog in a cart, and it has like the little crossed out circle thing like you'd see for a railroad track, like no crossing sign. It literally says, service dogs welcome, no pets, don't put your pet, or don't put your service dog. It literally doesn't even say don't put your pet in the cart. It says don't put a service dog in the cart. I'm walking, trying to get to the aisle. Like, I had gone around, I'm trying to get to the aisle, trying to like avoid everybody because I'm hearing people going, doggy, 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 hearing kids go, look, a dog, mom, because they always yell when they see a big dog in the store. These ladies can't walk with their cart because they're turning around. She has a really big dog. She must like big dogs. What do you think, hun? I think she likes big dogs. Yeah, I like big dogs and I cannot lie. What's your point? Nothing against little dogs. I just love big dogs who think they're lap dogs. I think it's adorable. Also, I need DPT, as I mentioned earlier. A little dog can't do that. I mean, they can for some people, but for me, I need a big dog. That's what I need. I need mobility. I need DPT. I need a big dog. That's what works for my needs. Each service dog is different size, different breed. It's up to the handler and what they need that dog to perform. I need a big dog to be able to provide me with some of the tasks. Plain and simple. I need a big dog. Also, I feel safer when I have a big dog. People are less likely to approach you when you have a big dog. So, I'm a big dog. But anyhow, so I'm going down the aisles and I finally get around everybody to come around the corner to see this tiny dog. Could you not? Maybe a Yorkie. It was like this big in a cart. Not only was it in the cart, it was in a pet cart thing, pet carrier thing in the cart. Not only was the dog in the cart in a pet carrier, it had on a skirt. This dog had on a skirt. Nothing wrong with that, but typically people who have service animals don't put them in a skirt. They put them in a vest. Because as I previously mentioned, putting your dog in a vest means you're gonna get less questions, you're gonna get harassed less. Most handlers don't put their dog in a skirt, in a key, in a seat, in a cart. Because you're not supposed to, as the sign says. Don't put it in the cart. You don't put your dog in the cart. But then it starts going, and tries to jump out at my service dog. Granted, I think it was a friendly kind of whine. It didn't seem like I've had some dogs in carts at Walmart, like full on barking, growling, trying to lunge at my dog, and I think, oh crap, if that dog gets out of that cart, then it's going to eat my dog's legs, or try to. And if my dog starts bleeding, one, he's white, so luckily I'm gonna notice it right away. It won't be like he has a lot of blood loss before I notice. Two, however, could make him have a fearfulness of other dogs in public spaces, which could mean he'd have to be washed. I have spent probably close to $10,000 on this dog, and if you get a fully trained, already ready to go service dog, it's $20,000. Service dogs are not cheap, people. Not cheap at all. I'm gonna guess I've probably spent between $8,000 and $10,000. I already spent $3,500 by the time I picked him up, and then between vet bills and grooming and the extra vet bills, like I have them do extra things, extra tests and stuff, like blood work and stuff, just to keep him safe. But like, and then the training and all of the gear I've bought him and the special toys I've bought him to keep him entertained, like I've probably spent somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000 on this dog. That's not cheap. So if your dog attacks mine and he becomes fearful or aggressive, I have to wash him potentially if I can't work through it. So then I have to get another dog. That's gonna cost me between $8,000 and $10,000. Mind you, this dog is only a year old, so I'm still gonna be paying a ton more in his lifetime for his food and his grooming and his vet bills and everything. And once he's ready to retire, just to keep him, I'll keep him as a pet, and just to let him live out the rest of his life is still gonna be expensive. Like, it's expensive to have a dog, but it's really expensive to have a service dog. And so this dog, today I don't think the dog was trying to do anything other than make friends, but still, this is why, because it distracted my dog. If I had gone into an episode, I could have passed out and hit my head off of something like the floor or one of the shelves. I could have become so bad, like, because mine's psychiatric, I sometimes go into psychosis. For example, the other night I had a panic attack, and in my state of panic, I had a psychosis episode, which basically meant I didn't think Winnie was doing his job. Like, looking back in hindsight now, I'm like, wow, he did so good, because I was, no, get away, I don't want you, and I was pushing him away and trying to like, just, I don't even know, I just couldn't focus on anything. I didn't want him in my face, but he did his job flawlessly, and looking back now, I'm like, thank you, good job. But in that moment, I was in a state of psychosis, and I was like, I don't want you, I don't want anything, I don't want anybody, leave me alone. But that's fine, whatever. But this dog today, what I'm trying to say here is, one, if you're in a business, please use the 2 questions and don't just assume. It's so rude. And don't be rude after that. Like, just friendly, nicely talk to the person. Get the right information, ask those questions, and be kind. That's all I'm asking. Be kind. 2, if you think it's okay to bring a pet dog into a store, it is not. It can seriously distract dogs and make things happen. I mean, luckily I was feeling pretty okay in that moment, and I was able to just say like, let's go, and walk off. But if I had already been having a really bad day, that could have sent me over the edge and freaked me out and made me nearly pass out. And my dog, because your dog is whining at it because it's not trained properly, could have distracted my dog. He could have missed an alert, and I could have passed out and ended up with a concussion or worse. So if you take away anything from this video today, 1, if you are in business, and I'm talking anything, Kohl's, Walmart, Penn Station, McDonald's, a hotel, a hospital, because they're allowed to go in like common areas of hospitals, just be kind and ask the questions. Don't just assume. Know your laws. 2, just please don't bring pets into stores. It's dangerous for those of us who actually need our service animals. It's just rude. But now I'm gonna end this because I have the windows open on either side of me, but it's getting dark, and I'm hoping that you guys can still see me properly. And also, I think it's almost like 9 o'clock. Yeah, it's 8:40, and I've not had dinner. Right now, I didn't have lunch until like 2:30 today because I just wasn't hungry until then. Someone just pulled in. You saw the light change. That was someone's headlights. But yeah, so I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make some dinner, and then I'm gonna probably watch a movie because it's Friday night, so that means it's movie night. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, thanks for subscribing. Don't forget to leave a comment what you think our fandom name should be, and I will see you guys next time.